Happy Friday, happy Friday. What's going on, crypto enthusiasts? What an eventful start to the Friday we have. And overall, what an amazing week. I'm still blessed and highly favored. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions as far as what's going on, as far as with my relationship with ScalpX, things of that nature. Wanted to pop on here real quick, share some light into that, give you guys some insight, answer any questions that you guys may have, and resume from there, right? Just pick up from the trades and the setups that we're looking at. So welcome. Good morning. God bless you guys. Welcome on in. For those that are new here, I am Crypto Saint. I'm a full-time trader. I discuss different types of setups and strategies, and I teach you guys as I go along the way. Inside these streams, we will have live setups, entries that I'll be taking, TPs that I'll be taking. This is what I'm personally going to be doing. I wouldn't be telling you saying, hey, you enter here. This is what I'll be doing. If it's something that you want to follow suit in, by all means, more than welcome to. The objective here is to not only be profitable, yes, that's one of the byproducts of it, but to learn and grow as we go. Good vibes only. What's going on, sir? Good morning. What's up, Jeff? Good morning, Monik. Good morning, Edu. You, what up, Serena? You like that thumbnail, dishwasher? Yeah. I figure add a little spice to it today, considering there's drama in the world right now. So I'll let you guys pop on in here. Everybody doing good though? Everybody having a good start? ETH, yeah, I'm waiting for ETH. ETH has one break of structure on a 30-minute. I did take a long at 2683. I'm looking for that area to maintain itself. If it flushes down, then I'm anticipating like 2510. I'll share the charts here with you guys in a second. So without much further ado, let me just kind of dive right into it. You know, the elephant in the room. I'm no longer part of ScalpX. I was with ScalpX for roughly around 3 years from the very beginning. A lot of you guys have been with me thus so far. Some of you guys are new to ScalpX, but you've already kind of caught wind of what my vibe is like. I'm heavy on education and guiding people through things from free education to even paid education altogether. One of the calamities that we ran into with ScalpX is obviously I have a mentorship and I have an indicator package that I provide. There was a kickback that they wanted for that, and they weren't receiving the kickback for that. So that's the reason being for my dismissal. I have had individuals ask me to trade for them. That has happened. I've never, ever reached out to an individual and say, hey, send me X amount of dollars because of X, Y, and Z. That has never happened. I would love to see that DM or that post or any of that nature. So none of that has ever occurred. From a P&L perspective, I've shared my P&L curve, not on a losing streak or anything of that nature. So anything that you hear outside of that, it's just going to be hogwash at the end of the day. That's really all it boils down to. I do wish them well. I have no ill will towards anybody in that regard. I do have some things that I'm setting up on my side. Some of you guys that are in here with me are already part of that. In the sense of exchanges, I'll be trading on Bytunix. I'll be making a transition back over to Bytunix. I have some setups for that for anybody that chooses to follow, where you guys will have VIP 3 status on that. Free education will still resume. I will be having education on here, but I'll also have some private and free education inside of a Discord. I'll be posting that on my Twitter. Be sure to be following me on Twitter so that way you guys can be informed about all that stuff. And then as we get into that corner, we're going to have some more alpha that's going to be posted inside of those corners. Other than that, I mean, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I want to kind of dedicate maybe a couple minutes just for you guys, clear any air for you, and then go from there. I don't know if I'll be joining Paragon, to be quite honest. I don't know where those guys are at. So I don't know. One thing I do know is this. I mean, we were kind of vibing yesterday, and I had mentioned, I was like, it was so odd. You know, I had my fan on, had the AC running, and, you know, my Bible automatically flipped to Isaiah 53, and I still have it open here, right? I still have it open. And that's crazy that I was reading that yesterday. It says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. You know, and I sat and I meditated on that for a good while yesterday. I was discussing it with my partner yesterday as well too. And, you know, it's interesting, right? Just from a faith-based perspective, you know, sometimes we get these messages and then they get ignored, and then we sit and we pray and we ask and we ask and we ask, and we're like, well, why isn't God answering us? And it's like, because he already showed you. He already showed you. It was your choice that you ignored it. So, you know, it's something I didn't ignore yesterday. It's something that I sat on today. And then when I got that information, I mean, my DMs were being flooded. You know, what's going on, and, you know, people sharing screenshots as far as what's going on, what's being said. I was just like, that's why that was said to me. That's why that was said to me. No weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. So I'm a faith-based individual. I believe in what God has in store for me. His plan is always greater than any man's plan. So it's not even my plan, even whatever I choose to do. You know, if I choose to go and build out the private Discord, if I choose to join Paragon, whatever the case may be, it's something that I need to sit there and have that dialogue with God, and I ask for his guidance. So I don't know in that sense. I have some thoughts, I have some ideas, but we'll see what's going to go on going into next week. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty transparent with everybody. I mean, as far as everything that I'm doing, you know, from my trades to my entries to my mentorship programs to my indicator packages, you know, everything's always been on the up and up. Nothing ever been snuck in or anything of that nature. So, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I try to do my best, man. It's you know, I took a long break for about 7 months last year. It was a tough time for me, mentally, family wise, things of that nature. So I took a break, and I got real close to God. And one of the questions I was always asking him, I was just like, why do you give me this knowledge? Like, I mean, I'm self-taught, so I would ask, like, why do you give me this knowledge? Like, what am I supposed to do with it? Like, am I supposed to help people with it? Am I supposed to be focused on money? Because obviously that can't be the focal point. Like, what am I supposed to do with this information? And, you know, that question wasn't answered right then and there. It took some time to develop. It took some time for that answer to come to fruition. And what I've gathered from that is I'm giving this knowledge here, give it back, because there's other individuals that are out there that are trying to make something out of their life, trying to improve themselves in one way or another, whether they have a partner that is giving them stress or they have family members that they're trying to provide for, whatever the case may be. And this wasn't given to me directly, right? I learned this for a reason, right? Just looking at my past course of my life in the sense of when I got into mortgages, why I was so soaked and inundated with charts. And then when I got into crypto, you know, at that time, you know, thinking from carnal mind and thinking in the flesh, it's like, well, I'm good at this and this is how I'm going to make money. And this is what it's going to be about. And the big man upstairs is like, no, that's not. You're going to learn so that way you can teach other people. Because I've always had a passion for teaching. I've always had a passion for helping others. And so now I get to actually combine two, you know, from a full-time perspective, which I've been doing for the last several years. But now it's a little bit more out in the open for you guys. So I'm here. Let's open up some charts here real quick. I will try to answer anything for you guys as we go along. Let me get these charts opened up here and give you guys a peek as far as what I'm looking at. So for River, I want to kind of talk about River real quick because I think River is going to be bottoming out before ETH actually shows signs that it's going to completely bottom out. I'm still looking at this zone right over here. It's a pretty thick order block, right? It's a pretty big order block altogether. I was just looking at the mathematics, something that we were discussing yesterday, as far as for wave 3. You know, let's make the assumption that that River is inside of a bearish wave 3, and we have 1.618 area that sits right around like 32.847. And so that's one of the areas that I'm looking at for a bounce inside that zone. Could it go deeper than that? Yes, a wave 3 can get, you know, really aggressive here and go down to, you know, 2.618. But I think because, one, I have confluence, I have an order block that sits inside that area, I do have a fib level that sits inside there, and I do also have some liquidity pockets that are in there. So in the event that it doesn't go to 2.618 but breaches 1.618, I'm looking at all this area right inside here for River to start making some bounces. Now for ETH, I did take some longs last night. I did post this on Twitter, so you guys had an idea as far as where I was at. I did snag 2683. Now this is a higher low. In the event that we sweep 2623, then I'm going to be looking at these levels right over here, like 2509, even down to roughly 2415. One of the indicators, or not indicators, but one of the tools that I'm utilizing right now is I'm looking at USDT. You guys should know this by now. USDT is pretty important to me in the sense of the direction of where ETH is going. As USDT continues to climb up, ETH will continue to climb down. So there is a fair value gap that sits right above here. If we look left, we can see this from a 2-day. You can also see this on a daily, if you're wanting to look at it from a normal time frame, if you will. So this level right over here puts us right around like 7. I was discussing with another member in DMs on Discord the other day, and we were looking at this being a potential flag for USDT, which would put it at very scary levels, right? Because ETH will flush and flush very hard if it goes to those levels. So it's just something that we got to be, you know, cognizant about here. We did get essentially which appears to be like a double top inside the zone. You can see right where this line was at, 6.767. We had a lower high over there, another lower high right over here, but now we just came back to those same levels right over here, which is this line, 6.764 in this area. So it's running into this temporary wall. That's the best way of putting it. This temporary wall that sits right over here. Now, if we start to see a breakdown of this level, and we can get, you know, an ABC correction, we'll see a short-term pump on ETH. Going into Saturday, and it's the end of the week, I really don't anticipate that. Sunday is still going to be the day that I'm looking at that we're probably going to have some wild moves. You know, tomorrow's the last day of the month. Obviously, Monday being, you know, the start of the new month. So, actually, wait, I think I have that backwards. Sunday is going to be the start of a new month. My apologies, right? Or do I have that wrong? Yeah, Sunday is the start of the new month, excuse me. So, month opening, week opening, I would suspect Asia, if not maybe around 11:30 on Sunday, we start to see some pretty wild moves altogether. River tradable right now? I mean, from a smart money concept perspective, if we're utilizing that strategy, I mean, if you're running on a low leverage and you're open to DCAing into those positions, it's this order block that you really want to be looking at. I mean, from a trend-wise perspective, I mean, I'm showing buy signals already, but the problem that I have for me is, you know, I want to see a combination of a couple things, right? I would like to see this RSI, you know, sweep into this zone, this 20 zone, right? Because that signals strong buying areas if you will, because we're going to be inside of an oversold. We're just kind of floating around here in this area. The second part about that is that we have an imbalance index, right? That's what this indicator is right over here. This imbalance indicator, when you see this 85% or you see this 14%, this represents bearish momentum and this represents bullish momentum. Typically, you want to see this like right around like 100% before that trend is at a point of exhaustion, right? So we have roughly around 15 more percent inside that trend where it can move to. So that's what I was saying. If I were going to build anything, I'd be looking at focusing on maybe from like a DCA perspective and then go from there. If you're looking for like a snipe entry, then I would just sit on my hands and just wait for that sweep. I'm looking at, as I mentioned before, the 1.618 area, which is right around 32.847. We have a liquidity pocket that sits right over here as well too. And then we have a deeper liquidity pocket that sits a little bit lower, right around 30. So in this order block, if you notice, this order block is like I said, it's pretty thick. It starts from this area right over here where we're kind of dancing around right now, which is 35. And it comes all the way down to roughly around 28. And then there's another order block right below that that sits right from 28 down to 26. So ideally what we'd be looking for, at least what I'm going to be looking for, is I'm looking for signs of weakness as we get down to those lower levels. Bearish signs of weakness to give me confirmation saying, okay, this is going to be a good opportunity to long. So as we start approaching those levels, I will float down to like a 3-minute or 2-minute and then kind of really peek to see where I can get a scalp entry on that. Not a scalp entry, a snipe entry on that, because the move will happen first on the lower time frames. The better data obviously is on the higher time frames. Speaking of that, let's just go to a higher time frame for River. And we can see where we're at here. I mean, if it really wanted to go bananas, I mean, you have a lot of liquidity here on the higher time frames all the way down to 6. But at the same token, right, this is a clear 1, 2, 3. You had the 4 here, and then this puts us at 5. So what's going to come next? What typically comes next is going to be your ABC. So I would chalk this up to being an A, getting it down to this area. Then we get our B, and then we'll get our C that starts pushing down over here. That's the way that I'm looking at it. That's the way that I'm structuring it. What's going on, Whacker? Welcome, brother. I just saw you pop in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, Sugar? Sugar Papito. Que hola, sere. Que huete. I hope you're doing well. Gotta always make sure the light at the end of the tunnel is lit. It keeps up the grind. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Following his light, following his perfect order. So that's the way that I chalk up to it. I'm considering restarting the challenge, considering that the challenge was specifically for ScalpX. So if I do push out, a private community, I'll restart the challenge for that community, and you guys can, partake in that challenge with us. Enter long. I did enter long on ETH. So ETH, ETH I'm at 2683. What's up, good? Yeah, I'm not going nowhere, man. I'm not going nowhere. I'm for the people, right? I want to make sure that people grow at the end of the day. So this channel was based on that. I wasn't running live on here nowhere nearly as much as I have been for the last like 2.5, 3 weeks. But if you go look at my previous content, going almost 3 years back, all of my content is education based, where I teach about DMI, I teach about Elliott waves, I teach about everything that I really talk about. I give weekly ETH updates. So all of that's there, all that's documented. You can see for yourself who I am, and I'm pretty open as far as transparency. if river can bounce inside this area, let's go back to a 34, right? So, you know, just looking at a 34, I do got to break a structure that sits over here. You know, and obviously we have some liquidity strikes that are coming into this area. So, you know, if you long this area, I wouldn't say that, you know, that's bad or anything like that. I would just look for, you know, treating like a short-term scalp. I mean, I could be wrong here. Maybe I don't get down to that 1.618 area. This is still a very strong impulsive wave 3. When you look at the grand scheme of things, it's from this move down to here. So essentially that is roughly a 53% retracement. That's pretty strong for a wave 3. Can it get deeper? Yes, it can. But I mean, just looking at the grand scheme of things, like it has a 53% drop, and then let's look at the overall drop from the high. 60%. You know, so the initial drop was roughly around what, 7%? In that range, and then we have another 53%. That is a wave 3 characteristic. Wave 3 is going to be your most impulsive wave. So, you know, if you took a stab at it and said, you know what, I'm gonna long it here, I wouldn't fault you for that. I see the same thing. This is kind of what we were discussing yesterday. Remember when we had this change of character, we were waiting for that break of structure. Then we had a little pop up over here. Then you got another change of character, but then we did get a break of structure right into the order block. So just using this as a quick example, when you start to see these break of structures, you know, this is an opportunity to start shorting. This is a bullish break of structure. So a short would start to make sense here inside of this area. Now we got another change of character. All right, boom. Now we got a break of structure right over here. Okay, is the trend exhausted? Is it exhausted yet? Is it done yet? A little bit of a little tiny pump right over here. Retrace that pump a little sideways, then boom, another break of structure right over here. So we could see the same thing, a little pop up right here, and then get another break of structure. Typically, it's roughly around about 2 to 3 break of structures. That's really what I start to look for. When that trend is exhausted, sometimes you can get just one break of structure and then it moves down. It's kind of like what we saw right over here. So if you're utilizing smart money concepts like I am, it's a price action type of strategy. So you'll see it in real time. You really want to look at where the trend is going. If you get that third break of structure, you're looking for the long opportunities. You're keeping your stop loss tight just below the low that you had, because if it breaks that, then you're going to have another break of structure. Hopefully that makes sense. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that, Dorian. I appreciate that. Yeah, YouTube channel has been growing over the last month. In the month of January, I think we put on, I don't know, somewhere like 300 subscribers, something like that, which is I'm very grateful. That's the best way to put it. I'm very grateful for that. I did not anticipate that. I was just going at it. And then I saw that there's some things that I can provide to you guys once the page is actually monetized. So that's just like another tool. So the overall goal this year, if you know, God willing, and that's in his plan, is to grow this account to, you know, 1,000 subscribers. We do have a $1,000 giveaway. I'm still going to stick to that. We have a $1,000 giveaway once the channel does reach 1,000 subscribers. And we still do have a $100 giveaway because ETH did reach 2788 levels. I'll still be honoring all that stuff. Right now, I'm just debating as far as restarting the challenge. So one, everybody kind of gets a fresh start. And two, I can actually do it from where I'm going to be doing it, whether I'm going to be running it directly on X or if I'm going to be running it inside of a Discord. Discord, when I have the Discord, it's 100% free, so it's not paid. So if anybody's concerned about any of that stuff, it's always going to be free in that regard. The only things that are paid for is going to be private mentorship, where I work with you directly for 3 months on a one-on-one basis. We meet 3 times a week. You have homework assignments weekly. I review your trades. I review your setups. Ultimately, we do take some live trading together, so that way you are profitable within the first 2 weeks to the first month, so that way you can recover whatever your investment is. And if someone wants indicators that come with it, you can buy them a la carte, which would be a little bit more pricier, or what most people do is they buy the full package. I will still be honoring discounts for individuals that are part of part of the group, that are coming in from YouTube or part of a Discord that we're going to establish. I'll still be honoring some discounts for you guys. Yes, I would say ETH long is going to be treated like a swing trade, but I'm not looking at swing to all-time high. I'm looking for a swing into like 3,600, maybe 3,800. You know, the deeper we go, the higher we go. So the highest that we went to was roughly right around 3,400. And actually, I have it here. I'll show you on index. I'll open up this single page, and then we'll go to a daily. Right, so this is my thesis for the daily, right? Wave 1, wave 2, big wave 3. You can see that huge impulse right there. Now wave 4 is it's a complex wave. It can run one side up, it can run one side down. Wave 4 is a very difficult wave to trade altogether. It's not something that you're going to be sitting in as a swing, if that makes any sense. Now, if this was wave 5, then we have truncation. See, I had this level right over here, 2669, and we got right into that level, 2681, right in that area. So this would be truncation. But we also have a change of character on the daily. And so if it were to run it back and retest it, you know, it would run back and retest 3072 inside that area, and then have a breakdown and continue to come down. And or wave 4 is not done because it's complex, it can do this, and it decides to move to here or here, and then you get the big push down below, which would sweep these areas. So that's how I'm looking at this right now for ETH. We're inside of a complex, so it's a longer way of answering a question. You know, if I'm going to be treating it like a swing, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that, you know, I have good ground that I can get up to. I can get up to, you know, 3689 on a 2683 entry. Yeah, I'll take that. That might take some time. That might take, you know, into February, maybe March, and then we continue to see the dump towards the end of March. That part I don't know. What I will do is I'll actually throw on a fib zone, and we can see that we're inside of a compression zone, and then it gets more compressed over here inside of February. And then once we enter into March, you know, as we get into the later parts of March and getting into April, we start seeing those bigger swings, those bigger moves. So we can compress and kind of move maybe even sideways here for the next 2 weeks or so, a little bit less than 2 weeks, but we can just kind of float around here in this area. I'm definitely open to building inside the zone, because if I can get into this area over here, then I'd look for shorts, right? I wouldn't be reshorting this area because there's liquidity that sits over here inside this zone. There's some order blocks that are going to act as liquidity. I'm not going to go for another short here in this area. I'm going to look for something like this. As a matter of fact, if I go over to the weekly on my high time frame point of view, I want to point out one of our previous markets that we had. Right, we had a very sharp retracement back down right over here for an ABC, and then we came right back into this 3,500 area. Boom. 3,500s, boom. 3,600s, 3,500s, boom. So I'm of the mindset, history doesn't have to repeat, but it can certainly rhyme. that we can get back into this area right over here, and then we'll see a bigger push down to the downside. So this is why I'm open to building a long on ETH where it currently is at now, inside of these zones. Now here's the other side of it, something just to take in consideration. All right, saying, well, what if it does go up, right? What if it just goes higher? You know, what if this was wave 4, and then, you know, one of your thought process was that you have truncation right here. Wave 5 did not breach wave 3, so this turns into truncation. Then we'll know that based off of if we get an impulse up. Let's just say we get an impulse to here, and then we get a correction, a small correction, and then we get another impulse that sits over here, let's say in this area. That whole move, so it'll look like this. It's probably easier to do it like this. Let's just assume this was truncation. So you'll get an impulse like this, then maybe you get a retracement, and then you'll get another impulse. Then this entire move becomes your wave 1. Then you'll get a wave 2. And if this wave 2 does not breach this area over here, then that's your confirmation you're going to go higher. Then you'll go into a wave 3, 4, 5. And that'll take some time, right? That'll take 60 days or so in order to mature. So that's what I would be looking for to give me confirmation. So, you know, if I'm long from this area right over here, and let's say I get into 3483, you know, I break down one more time, I'll open up a head short inside that zone, take it to wherever wave B is at. If wave B is invalidated, right, maybe let's say we don't have a wave A and it just goes lower, and there was just another move for the complex wave and it decides to move lower, then I'm positioned on the short, and then I can write it down to whatever level it's going to be at, and wherever wave 5 is going to finish, that's what I'd be looking to long. But in the event that if I am right, or if I am wrong, however you want to look at it, and it comes to this level, then I would clip my short. I'm still going to be long from this area, and then I'd ride it here to the zone. Then do the same thing again. I would enter into a short here in this area, and then see if I can hold a wave 2 level, sharp levels, 618, 76, 0.88, as long as I don't breach here. If I do breach here, then a wave is going to be invalidated, but I'm already going to be positioned on a short, so I'll be good in that sense. But if I come to, you know, certain fib levels and I start bouncing off of those, then I can cut my short, possibly even add back to my long, because I'll have a lower average here in this area, and then ride it for a wave 3, and we'll see a large impulse wave for a wave 3. For a daily on here, I have a setup that's a daily. I think it's you. Yeah, it's you. I got to make some adjustments on this, but wave 3. So all this, 1, 2, 3, all this essentially is wave 4. If I can find it. Right, so this was wave 4, and then we would be inside of a wave 5. I would move this over a little bit, because obviously we're not going to be going there. I had this pegged earlier in the year, like around like November. I was looking for January to actually give us this move, but not so much, which is fine. I could just move this stuff over, make some adjustments here. My wave 5 is still going to be the same. Let's just point you that way. And that's still going to be wave 4. So either double top, truncation again, or I get slightly higher, or I can run into a classic level, which would be right over here. I'm giving you that perspective in the event, saying, okay, well, what if you're wrong, right? What if we do go higher? what level would you be looking at? Like if we smoke 3600s, 3800s, okay? For this to be invalidated, not necessarily invalidated, but for this to be reclaimed, we got to reclaim 3800. It's this level where this swing point was at. So we'd have to reclaim that. Could we test it and then come right back down? Yeah, we could. And that's the idea that plays into the monthly. It's viewed over here, sorry. That fib level. So higher time frame, more data. February, maybe March, you get a pop up into this area, then that's your wave B. Boop. Then you'll come back down. That's why I say it's important that we actually break this level if we're going to have continuation up to the upside. We'd have to reclaim that. So anything less of that would still fall under bearish retest levels. I'll clean up that idea at some point. But right now that's what I'm looking at from a daily perspective. So building along and looking at the bearish retest levels, and wherever the bearish retest levels start showing us signs of weakness, that's what I go to. Right now we do have a change of character that sits over here. We don't have a break of structure just yet. So if you're looking at daily, you had a change of character, break of structure, and break of structure, 2 break of structures. Then you had a change of character, break of structure. Then you had another break of structure, another break of structure, right in these same areas. So 1, 2, 3 break of structures that activated the short. When we had a change of character to the downside right over here, it moved up. How much did it move up? Let's go from here to here. What was that? 25% move. That's what a 25% move would look like. Take us right back into the same area, could potentially go a little bit higher or to these zones. And that's what you're dealing with when you're working with a wave 4. They are very difficult waves to trade on both sides. They literally run both sides. Someone that's shorted here, price action came down. Someone may have longed it. They took it to this level. And then maybe someone shorted it here, came right back down. Maybe people were getting here, so they got round tripped. Then these people that were entering short over here, they got round tripped. Then the people that were longing here or even longing here, they got round tripped. So both sides are getting round tripped. You can't overcommit to them. So when I saw this coin, we could not believe it. Yeah, for River, yeah. So let's go back to just double look and put ETH back on. And we were looking at this from a 34. Actually, I'll go back over to that daily real quick. Let's look at the let's see if this is cooled down. Nope. That is not. A little bit of a cooldown right there. And you're swinging on an 8 right there, so it's probably it's most likely gonna sweep these right here. That's okay. I'm not afraid to long it. I'm not afraid to take longs in those zones. Yeah, here. Here, we'll do this. Here, we'll do this. All right, I'm gonna put a. Here, I'll keep this open for the next 12 hours. There's a section that I have in there with books. There's tons and tons of free books that are in there once you get into the education section. Once you get into the education section, there's tons of books that are in there. Nice. Okay, this is good news, guys. Okay, I literally just got this message. Partnership is set up. I can view passwords. Not passwords, excuse me. I can view the dashboard for tracking. They're finishing launching a campaign that will give our community VIP 3. But it won't go live until tomorrow or Sunday. So here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post the referral link inside there for you guys. Just be sure to put your deposit, send me proof of deposit with your UID, and then I'll do my due diligence on my side. I have a little bit more control as far as getting people set up on VIP status. And you guys know I will always talk to you. So you don't have to sit there and wait. I don't have to wait for somebody else. Just bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. I gotta log in. I'm gonna get you guys set up right now. Oh, this is exciting. Hold on, I gotta go to a different site. I'm here. I'm just setting everything up for you guys literally live as I'm doing this. What is this? Okay. We're doing some giveaways, things like that, trading challenges. So very similar to like what you guys have seen before. Just it'll just be me running it with a couple other guys. Hold on, I'm looking for a referral link for you guys. Gotta do it by hand. Well, one way or another, if you guys are already inside of the Discord already, thus so far, you'll see me posted inside there. So maybe they're still setting it up on their side. I'm just gonna wait for them. Remember, I think you guys get a couple bonuses when you have new UIDs as well too, so that's something to take into consideration. Let me get it back into this chat. Yeah, buy Tunix. Buy Tunix. I don't post where inside of liquidity Citadel. I haven't been posting in there. I've been mainly posting my setups inside of ScalpX, but obviously that has changed. So you'll see fresh updates in there, weekly, daily, when I stream, you name it. I would love to see it, but no. I would love to see it. Like, just, I offer mentorship and I offer indicators. That's what I offer. There's a set price that's for them. That's what it is. If somebody feels some type of way about that they, they want to take profit on something that took me a very long time to code. My harmonic indicator itself took me almost 4 months to code. Prior to that, I was just running into snags. All my other indicators, they've taken hours to build. I mean, my harmonic one is roughly like 874 lines of code altogether. There's a lot of time and effort that's put in behind that. So it doesn't make sense for me to give that up. I mean, I'm a family man. This is what I do full time. I have 7 children. So yeah, I can't take food out of their mouth. And they know that. Nah, never ask anybody for any money, bro. Never. Not one person. Have people approach me and ask me to trade for them? Yeah, they have. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's not one DM out there me reach out to someone saying, hey, send me this, send me that. No, I didn't move to them. And I have no beef with them. I have no beef with anybody, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, I think character kind of speaks for itself. I mean, it's a good point, good. Character speaks for itself. You guys have been with me for years. You know exactly how I roll. I don't put people down. I don't cuss. I don't call them, all these different types of names. I have a way different style. Yeah, see, river looks like it's looks like accumulative. I would just love to see a little pop right over here. I'm gonna take a small position on river when that drop comes down. If it drops down a little bit more, I'm gonna take a smaller position. Oh, nice to see that you guys joined. That's what's up. Welcome, 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 guys. Welcome, welcome. And I'll still be doing classes on Thursdays. Still be offering, free classes. Nothing changes in the sense of my style, right? Nothing changes in that sense. Just I'm not going to be micromanaging how I'm going to help people. I think that's crazy. You can help people, but we want to take 30% of the profits for helping people. What? And I don't even know from some of the DMs that I've got from people, like, people are just leaving. Most people are leaving, going to Paragon, or they're just leaving and they're out altogether. So it's just a lot. Oftentimes there's just a lot of noise, and you got some really, really, really big egos floating around that you got to watch what you say. I don't think that's right from a community perspective. People should be able to express themselves, as long as it's in a respectful manner. But I think people should be able to express themselves or ask questions or not be told that they're an idiot. Yeah, true. You TP 33? That's what's up. Yeah, I see that 33, 32 area. I'm with you on that. Good. I think ETH will sweep. I'm on a 450 time frame right now. I do have a cooldown I have a 6 that's printed deeper than the 7, and it's on an 8 right now. There's like 5 hours left inside of this session, so the sweep may come by like later tonight. Excuse me, later tonight. Then going into volume on Saturday being flat, we'll probably see some sideways movement, and then come Sunday, we'll most likely start to see some pushes up. That's what I'm anticipating. Like if we get a massive push to the upside for ETH on the opening of February, like the first week, because it's a short month, so shorter the month, the harder the move is going to be. If we see a hard move to the upside, chances are we're going to have a deep retracement by the end of the month, going into March. Definitely be looking for moderators. Anyone that's good with Discord, things like that. Definitely be looking for people like that. So that's something that interests you, just shoot me a DM. I can figure it out. I won't have the time between streaming and doing education, things like that. I won't have that time. So if anybody's open to that, just shoot me a DM. Let's look at BTC real quick. I haven't looked at BTC. The charts are kind of slow, so I can play around with a couple different ones here. And we're looking at daily. Whee! That is a sharp wave too. And what is that? 93%, something like that. It's trying to pull back up. So I'll just add another one here. We'll just call this. It's deeper. Yeah. So 96% retracement. If it violates this, then the wave count gets invalidated. I mean, that's being aggressive, but I'd say that right there, and that runs flat, and then this maybe there, maybe a little bit higher, I mean a little bit lower. It would look something like that. If anybody's curious, I still do have open enrollment for 4 classes. I'm working with a lot of people's schedule here, so this month I'm being a little bit more flexible with it. So just working with people's schedules. Yeah, Omar, I just got your I just got your message, buddy. I just sent you how to get in, how to enroll, what it looks like. Yeah, last night, as far as that dump, yeah, that dump was Here, Omar, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna invite you to this. If you're not already here. That's where I'll be at. Yeah, there you go. You're already in. All right, let's take a look at River here real quick. Let's just go back to River because I like this little move. I like this little area. I'm gonna build a little bit here, little small positions. You don't need a big margin on these. So I'm gonna build a small little position here. I'll run my stop loss to that low. So if I get swept in that area, I lose like $18. So it's not gonna kill me. Still holding that long from ETH. I mean, I do anticipate a sweep, but you know, I also printed a 13. So in the event that I don't get a sweep here, that just kind of tells me, you know, down the road, we're going to come back and revisit this area, which feeds into what I was saying before, at least my thesis that, you know, we go into another bearish retest, we collect that liquidity to the upside, and then we'll get that push down. So this is a slightly higher time frame, 450. So, you know, we do have a lot of time before that can actually mature. But that's what we're going to be looking for. See, I got a 13 on the lead up phase, so it's showing me that this trend is running to exhaustion. I have two breaker structures that sit here. I have a cooldown that sits inside this zone. That's a gargantuic wave 1 though. Man, that wave 3 is going to be long and impulsive if that's the case. I was just eyeballing, just speculating, saying looking at that as like wave 1 and this is wave 2, how sharp it was. We'll see. Big ego's tiny whacker. I just read that. You're proud to be an idiot. Yeah, that's true. That's funny. I just read that line. Ooh, it's warm in here. So that little 10-year river move actually kind of worked out. So what I'm doing is I'm drilling down here, like on a lower time frame. I'm on another screen here, but you guys can't see it. But you know, these little moves like this, you know, have higher lows in that sense. I am being fed right here into an order block, but I would suspect this order block becomes liquidity. All right. Decent little moves on both. Let's see if we can get some type of recovery. Let's see. Do I have a... see, this is kind of like what I'm looking for. Obviously, this is a lower time frame, but just giving you an example here as far as imbalance. This really is going to measure trend, right? So when I'm at 100%, this is a bearish trend. When this bearish trend hits 100%, like where else does it go? Like you've hit your peak. That doesn't mean that you can't see like liquidity grabs down to the downside. That doesn't negate that. Just essentially saying that this trend is running into exhaustion from this time frame. It needs to pull back some if it's going to have any type of continuation. So like this number can start climbing down to like maybe 80, 85%, and then pull right back up again. Yes, that could happen. But if I'm at 100% here from a bearish trend, it behooves you to long in that area. And then when this starts to, you know, decrease or starts to decrease and then go right back up, then that's going to be your cue to start exiting out of that position. Now, mind you, again, that's on a lower time frame. Let's go to the 34. See, 34 is still sitting at 85. 21's at 100, and I'm going to assume everything else going further down is going to be sitting at, so we got an 80 on bullish. So 80 hasn't reached its peak yet. It's really running flat right over here. Those are ugly buy signals. Well, you got a buy signal right over here inside this zone. We really want to see this wave trend flush up. In a perfect world for me, I wanted to see this RSI come down to this level. But we got ADX collapsing, so this all points towards scalp. It all points towards scalp. Right. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a long haul here in this area. You know, maybe like 5 hours or so. We're going to be kind of sitting in this area for ether. I'm gonna go to a higher time frame on river. I see river. River printed a nice 9 over here, but continue to flush. But you can see these candles, this color coordination, these are exhaustion. These are exhaustion. So the other side of it is like you have bearish exhaustion, right? So this is bearish exhaustion. Hang on for a quick second, guys. Getting a phone call. There we go. Okay. I just got the link. I'll get it to you guys here in a second. Okay. I just posted it inside there. Let me go ahead and put this in here for you guys. Just be sure to send me your UID and then your proof of deposit, and then I'll make sure that you get set up. And I'll just put some notations for you guys. All right. I mean, it's pretty bearish to be honest with you. It's pretty bearish. I'm really just focused on some type of recovery, short-term recovery that we see here. We did make a higher low, but I don't believe we're out of the woods yet. I think in the next over the next 5 to 8 hours, it's really going to give us our insight on that. You have a long from 2800. We, I mean, I think it's going to. I think you're going to feel a little bit more of a squeeze, to be honest. Right? Because if when price action hits certain levels, like we look for moves like this, right? It came crashing down, moved sideways a little bit, then boom, popped up, and then just started moving sideways, and then you have your pop. So like or even over here, right? Back in November, you had that deep retracement, boom, dropped, and then pulled all the way back up. So, you know, we have that here, but we could get a couple more, one more wick down to the downside, and then decide to move up. GG's to you guys. Almost hit 100 followers. What's up? On the new X account. Is that stagnant part. This, and it's Friday too, you know what I mean? Like it's not going to be, I'll give it to about 1:30 or so, and then I'll go into Discord and we'll just start picking up from there. Main purpose for me today was really I just wanted to get with you guys, clear the air, we'll look at some charts, look at some entries, things like that. But it is Friday, so we got to take that into consideration. Fridays going into Saturdays are typically slower days altogether. But if you guys got questions, anything I can answer for you, feel free to ask. Kind of an open book here today. I think as everybody took profits. I think that's mainly it. Everybody took profits. And everybody took profits, and nobody usually, like when they take profits on silver or gold or anything that's stocks or bonds related, then you start to see a rotation into crypto, more riskier assets, whether they're hedging or they're going on full on positions, but nobody rotated into crypto. Then you have fundamental news, like Trump appointing a new Federal Reserve chairman. So you have stuff like that, people that want to fade him intentionally because, the narrative is that it's going to be very bullish for the markets. And you have, the other side of the coin, people that want to fade it. I can't. For me, it's difficult to get behind the fundamentals as far as like where's price action going to go. It's like at that point, it's like I don't know. I have no idea where it's going to go. Yeah, I think there was like $3 trillion in liquidations yesterday. uh, on that side of the coin, outside of crypto, which was that's bananas. Everything's out. Yeah, everybody's just kind of pulling out. And, and the Fed not cutting rates at all, that doesn't help. That's not bullish. Yeah, it's neutral, but the narrative was saying, okay, well, we need to cut rates. And then we got a CPI report today that actually printed higher, so showing inflation is still growing. So not a good combination from a fundamental perspective. And ETH might be one of those things that we just kind of sit on the side and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. Very true. Yeah, very true. I'm with you on that one, Guido. I mean, not necessarily like I'd avoid holding positions going into, into the weekend, into the new week or what have you. I'd avoid that. Just close the position, get some rest, reset your mind, spend some time with friends, family, do some alone time stuff. There's somebody I need to. Uh, no, it would. I don't. I asked that yesterday too. I was asking the BD from Bytenix if it could be transferred, and she was telling me she was like, "No, you got to make a fresh new UID." So I had to make a fresh new UID myself. You can transfer the funds over from your other Bytunix account. That you can do from UID to UID. That you can do. It doesn't count towards your deposit though. So like when you have a brand new UID and you do a deposit, they usually give you some type of bonus for that. So it doesn't count towards that. So, you know, just looking at it that way. Nice. Okay, so you already made the party. Just confirming here, right? You already made the new UID under the referral, and it already put you at VIP 3. 150. 150 for the deposit. 150. Nice. Okay. Did you already deposit party? Nice. Okay, so there it's already working on their side. That's what I love. Ah, okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you, party. Thank you for that. Thank you for joining. So on their side, on Bytunic's side, she was telling me, give it till tomorrow before the campaign goes live. But obviously, it's already live on their side. So maybe there's a delay between her and her developer side. Look at that. Look at God at work. Yeah, I could approach this completely different from a different mindset. I tell you, if this was me like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I definitely would have approached this a lot differently. But everything's in his hands. It should work at 150 though. That's the settings that I had with Bytunix. And obviously, as you guys know, my objective here is to help you guys protect your capital, help you grow your portfolios. So all those moves that I'm going to be taking, I'll be posting inside there. I'll be hopping off here like in the next like 36 minutes or so, but I'm going to go right into Discord and start chatting up with you guys, posting some ideas, business as usual, if that makes any sense. All right, just a different office. The streams will continue. I think I'm gonna tweak because I was looking at the analytics for YouTube when most viewers are on. So I believe Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays I'm gonna be coming on right around like 9 o'clock, and then vibing to about maybe like 1:30, 2:30, and then Thursdays I'll be coming on roughly like around like 12 o'clock. And then Fridays, I'll pop in roughly around like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock in that sense. But that's when most people are actually viewing. This is when you guys can get majority of the good content, if that makes sense. So. No, so if you have a Bytunix account now, let's say you have two Bytunix accounts. You created the new one under the referral link. You'll have that UID. Go to your old Bytunix account and then transfer. You can do withdrawal, transfer, and it'll give you the option for internal. You're going to click on internal. It's going to give you some options for like email, phone number, what have you. Just look over to the right. You'll say UID and put the UID for your new Bytunix account, and then it transfers right over to your new Bytunix account. But I don't believe they constitute that as a deposit. because I did that yesterday for myself for my old BuyTunix account. I transferred over to my new BuyTunix account, and it didn't qualify. I'm using air quotes here. It didn't qualify as a deposit. So then this morning, I went into my wallet and then I transferred funds over from my wallet into my account, and then that constituted as a deposit. Sure. Yeah. Summary. I provide private mentorship and indicator packages that are for purchase. ScalpX wasn't making any profit off of that, and they didn't like that, so they removed me. They claim that I'm asking people for money, when I'm not. But in a nutshell, that's really what it boils down to. They weren't making any profits off of it. Vincenzo said it himself today earlier. You know, there was zero gain for him for me to do my mentorship or my indicators. So and I won't even go into the dirt why Valo and Killa and all them left. That's related to ScalpX. Like I won't even go into that. That's not my place to say that. But those characteristics have not changed from them. I can guarantee you, nobody has ever sent me asking somebody for money and saying, "Hey, send me this dollar amount." That has never transpired from my side. If you want to shoot it over to me in Discord, I can confirm it for you. If people ask me to trade for them, yeah, they have. But I've never ever gone into my DMs, looked at someone and said, "Hey, send me this." Not once. And I've been in that group for 3 years plus. I've made my own money. I provide for my own family. My sole purpose here is to help people. Yeah, I would love for someone to be in the chat and be like, "Yeah, I believe." I would love for someone in the chat here, whether I'm streaming, whether it's on X, I'm like, yeah, you did ask me for this. I would love to see that. And that's what's good about me streaming here on YouTube. Like everything I've been discussing with you guys, from my mentorship to my indicators and things like that, like it's all public knowledge. It's all public knowledge. And as a matter of fact, I believe I posted like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, inside my corner in ScalpX, letting people know that I was building the indicators, and if they had a certain amount of volume, that they could have access to them. So that was already posted inside of there. So it was knowledge. Call him to make a drop. Yeah. I might get stopped out of mine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'll go into the weekend, just chill, focus on Discord, building things out for you guys. I'll be getting some feedback from you guys, like individual things that you want to see inside there, that can make you a little bit more, makes your time spent there a little bit more beneficial. Amen, Sean. Amen. Amen. Amen and amen. I mean, these are like characteristics of non-believers. That's the way I look at it. I appreciate you, Jeff. I appreciate you, man. I love, bro. I appreciate you. God's got my back. I appreciate you. God was. It's one thing that I've been, you know, in part of my part of my journey is I've always asked God just to continuously surround me around the people that edify Christ, that are believers, people that have faith, and remove me from those that I'm not supposed to be around. So I have no problem with that. That's why I say it's all in God's plan. And when I said this prayer like 8 months ago, and ever since that moment, I mean, from even I think I was taking an Uber one day because I had to go from one point to another, and I just didn't have my car with me. And even my Uber driver was in faith. He just, we were discussing word the entire time when we were driving. My therapist, she's actually a pastor. Actually, no, she's a priest. She's Catholic, but she's a priest as well. I've discussed with another therapist before. She was also in word. It's like everyone that I've come encounter with that I've actually have deep relationships with, or at least deep enough, they are in faith to some degree. I wish them well. I wish them well at the end of the day, and I'll continue to pray over them. That's all I can do. Come on, River, you gonna go for a flush or what? Flush it. Flush it, flush it. I think the optimal area, it took a little position on River, still holding it, but it's small. Like I said, like if I get stopped out, I lose like $18. I'm not sweating it. It's more like just testing this area, see if I can actually get a bounce inside that zone. And if I got a bounce, then I would look for a retest and then add to that retest. But if it decides to flush, let's say we get to like 32.847 inside this area, definitely be looking for longing on that. Because right now we're at the 50 benchmark for this order block. That's what this, I don't know if you can see it on your end, but that's what this gray line is right over here. Now, if it starts rejecting the order block and it starts rejecting in this area, then that's going to become inverse. Then most likely it's going to come down deeper to these levels. That's really what I'm looking for, to see if it's going to inverse that order block. Sure, I got you. All right. I'm here. Sorry. I'm here. I'm chatting. I'm doing like multiple things. My ADD's like kicking in. Beast mode. Yeah, flush it, man. Flush the red line. Who is that? Good? Oh no, it's part of, yeah. One more dump on USDT. Let me take a look at USDT. It's a good call out. Let's see. Yeah, let's go to a daily on that. Yeah, maybe push down to get it clear some of this fair value gap. You get a little bounce on ETH. Hello? I don't know who that is. Sorry about that. Yeah, ETH probably gonna go for that little move down to the downside. I want to be ready for that one. I'm glad I fixed my PC yesterday. It was overclocking. That's why I kept on running into those snags. Because I was decompressing yesterday, just doing some, honestly, just doing some gaming. And I kept on getting blue screened on it. Mind you, I had my charts open and I'm gaming at the same time, yes, but it kept on getting blue screen, and I'm so glad that got fixed. There you go. ETH, come down a little bit lower. That's what we need. That's what I'm looking for. There you go. There's that sweep. I'm going to look along that. Took a long on that. I'm going to do a manual stop on that. 1.011%, which is like basically like 30 pips. So if I get into like 2640 in that area, I'll be stopped out on that. because I got a 13, now I got an 8 that prints. I could still get a 9 that comes down a little bit lower, but in the event, I'm speculating if my 8 is going to be my lower handle so far, that's what I'm gonna utilize. I got an entry at 2672. 2672.23. That's now seeing if this thing can actually hold. If it runs me into my stop, you know, my stop on that would be like $17. Now River just needs to do the same thing. Oh, damn. Sorry, man. Sorry. Yeah, 2511. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, that's what I got here marked on mine. If we flush into those levels, I'll take this stop loss on it, and then read long in that area if it just dies a flush into that zone. All right, now we need to see if this thing can pull up. Did I get a buy signal on that yet? Not just yet. Squeezing a little bit more. I want to catch this. I want to try to catch this. The top of that channel right there. What is that? 2641? No, it's not. What is that? 26. Yeah, it's 2641, 26. Somewhere in that area. Okay. I scattered some orders right over here at 2639, 2640 inside this area. At 2623 is the magic button. We sweep that. Whee! New low. Yeah, I started building a small long here in this area. Just DCing into it. Up. I have my stop at 26.28 in that area. That was a good tap. It tapped the top of this channel that it was forming, that it broke out, and then it tapped right into the top of that. That's where that came from. You will lead your way, standing up tonight, going strong. All right. I want to share something with you guys before I do sign off on here. You guys gotta know me by now. I'm a faith-based individual. I believe in praying over others and having that communion with the higher power, with the Father above. That being said, Father, we come to you today honest and humbled. You see everything that's happening. The removal from Scalp X, the words being said, the rumors, the accusations, the hurt. But today, Lord, we choose to stand on your word. As you say, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. We thank you that gossip is a weapon, lies are a weapon, slander is a weapon, but you are our defender. Right now, I lift up myself and every person connected to this new community and Discord. Cover us under your protection. Guard our hearts from bitterness, anger, and retaliation. Help us to respond in truth, humility, and love, not flesh. Lord, I ask that you protect my name and my character, expose what needs to be exposed, but also heal what needs to be healed. Let this stream today be about clarity, not chaos, truth, not drama, building and not tearing down. Bless even those who have spoken against me. Your word says to bless those who curse us and pray for those who spitefully use us. So I ask you to meet them too. Bring healing, understanding, and conviction where it's needed. As we move forward with this new space, let this community be built on honor, integrity, and your presence. Let people follow because of your truth and fruit, not just emotion or reaction. No weapon formed against us, this work, this community, or this assignment will prosper. And every tongue that rises in judgment, you, Lord, will deal with it according to your righteousness. We place our reputation, our future, our trading, and this new chapter in your hands. Lead the stream, guard my words. Let everything I say today reflect you. I pray all this in Jesus' name, and everybody said, amen. All right, guys, I'm going to wind down here. If you guys have any last minute questions, anything that I can answer for you, anything that, is spurring questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to help out in areas that I can help. I'll be inside Discord here momentarily, just sharing some thoughts, sharing some ideas. You guys saw the long that I had activated here for ETH. I've already took a little bit of profit off of that already thus so far. I took a quick 25% off of that. So I moved my my stop loss to break even in the event that it sweeps that area. So there's no loss on that for me. you can follow suit or you can continue to hold on to it. But this is really going to be the area that I'm looking for. From a 5-minute perspective, as I'm looking at my charts, that looks somewhat bullish, at least that candle. So we want to see how the next couple candles develop. If they can hold, then this is something that I'm going to hold until we get back into like 3400s and possibly even 3600s. Other than that, those are my targets for ETH. Other than that, I do love you guys. If someone hasn't said that to you today, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You guys are obviously here for a reason. I believe there's always a higher purpose, and things are not coincidental. They happen for a reason. So it's all part of the plan. And if you guys vibing with me and me vibing with you is part of the plan, I'm with it. Outside of that, as you go into the weekend, please be safe. Take your profits. It's okay to take profits. We got a whole new month that's developing. I'll do my absolute best to look to start streaming on Sunday because it's going to be a new week, new month. And I want to make sure that we can capitalize on that. So be on the lookout for that. And above all, guys, God bless you. Peace be with you. And again, love you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.